You serious?
Oh man, I've gotta come on and talk about this because of all the things that good old Jimmy Boy has done in his PlayStation CEO career, this is easily, by far, the coup de grace. This is easily, hands down, the dumbest fucking thing that this man has ever done as CEO of PlayStation. I have never in my life, in the near 30 years of PlayStation being on this planet, I have never seen a CEO act more like a petulant child, to act more like a spoiled fucking brat, more than Jim Ryan. The length that this man is willing to go to try everything in his power to not have Activision Blizzard bought out by Microsoft, it's baffling to me. This article came out today, and supposedly Jim Ryan made a bunch of proposals to Phil Spencer that if Phil Spencer agreed to, if Microsoft was willing to agree to, they would allow the sale of Activision Blizzard to go through. Let's go over these quote-unquote goals, shall we? So here we go. Jim Ryan's counter-proposal to Phil, blah, 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 whatever. Let's get to rule number one. Number one, ensure that all existing and future Activision Blizzard games are still available on PlayStation and have parity with Xbox. So he's wanting them to allow all future Activision Blizzard titles to be put on the PlayStation consoles. All of them. Every single one. Gee, that's funny, Jim. You know, you're telling them how to run a company that they bought, that they own, if you allow them to own it, and telling them that they need to put their games, all of their future games, on your brand. Meanwhile, aren't you the same Jim Ryan? Aren't you the same PlayStation that's refusing to allow Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 1, and Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 on the Xbox brand? Are you or are you not the same console, the same company that's refusing to allow Final Fantasy on Xbox? And I don't want to hear, oh, it's Square Enix that's choosing it. No, it's PlayStation. It's fucking PlayStation. You're gonna tell Xbox that they should put all their future titles on your console, but yet you're not gonna do the same for them. If they're going to allow Activision Blizzard games on your console, then how about you let them have Final Fantasy 16? How about you let them have Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 1 and Part 2? Why not allow Marvel Spider-Man on Xbox consoles? And while I was in the middle of saying all this, somebody actually responded to my comment on the Xbox One subreddit, and I could tell that this dude's a PlayStation fanboy. But nonetheless, this is what he ended up saying. Sony doesn't own the rights to Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy XVI. No, they do not. Square Enix are the ones who decided on timed exclusivity. Take your issue up with them. So you're gonna tell me that you believe that PlayStation didn't pay a single dime for timed exclusivity on their console? Meanwhile, Xbox is the same company that when Rise of the Tomb Raider came out, made that game a year-long exclusive for the Xbox brand. And while I think that was scummy too, we all knew, and Microsoft even came out and stated that they paid out of pocket for timed exclusivity for Rise of the Tomb Raider. If they're willing to come out and admit that they paid for time exclusivity, then that basically means that yes, PlayStation paid for time exclusivity on their brand too. For you to come out and say, oh, PlayStation didn't do that, it's on Square Enix, you're a hypocritical fucking liar. Gladly take the L, open your mouth, insert your fist, and shut the fuck up. They didn't pay for time exclusivity. My ass! Xbox ending cross-platform multiplayer when they're so far behind in the current and last generation console wars would be horrible for Xbox in the end. No one is going to buy Xbox when they can't play with the majority of people since they own a different console. When Xbox was in the lead during the 360 era, they were able to do this, but not now. I guess we're forgetting the fact that PlayStation also fucking did this too? Do I need to remind you of the Fortnite debacle from many years ago, where people that owned Fortnite accounts were not able to carry their account and progression over to Xbox PC because PlayStation was locking them off from transferring their accounts over? PlayStation was the only one that was not allowing cross-platform play. And it wasn't just with Fortnite, it was with a whole bunch of other games too. Are we forgetting that now? Oh, you're not going to bring that up. You're going to bring up the fact that, oh, Xbox was like this. Are they like it now? Of course not. Times change. Is PlayStation like that? No. No. Times change. But notice how you did not mention PlayStation at all here. They were the ones that were strongly against cross-platform play. Even to this day, you see articles come out about them charging game companies, game publishers, for cross-platform play. Xbox doesn't do that, Nintendo doesn't do that, PC doesn't do it, but PlayStation gets away with it. PlayStation. And you're not going to call them out for that. You're not going to address that. You don't want to talk about that. I swear, man, the type of people that I have to deal on the internet, the type of people that I have to deal with on the internet, I can't even fucking talk because these people make my damn head hurt. This is the type of shit that I deal with. This is why I rarely fucking comment on Reddit. Oh my god. You people make my fucking head hurt. Not a single damn time. Not a single damn time did you call Sony out at all. They don't own Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7. Of course not, because they don't own Square Enix. Yet. Now, if they came out and officially bought Square Enix, then we could really be making this argument a lot different. But they don't own Square Enix. But you saying that, oh, take it up with Square Enix. No, I won't take it up with Square Enix. I'll take it up with the company that paid for time exclusivity for their brand, which is Sony. So open your mouth, insert fist, and shut the fuck up. And one last thing before I move on to the next topic. The reason why I brought up that Microsoft should kill off cross-platform play with PlayStation is I look at it like this. If I was in charge of Microsoft, if I was in charge of Xbox, And let's say this acquisition, which most likely will not go through, let's say it doesn't go through, and they're unable to acquire Activision Blizzard. You don't think that I'm not going to sit back and not want to retaliate? You're out of your damn mind. Of course I would retaliate. And the way that I would retaliate is by telling PlayStation users to fuck off. You are not going to be allowed to have cross-platform play on our consoles anymore. Effective immediately, Xbox is pulling cross-platform play from PlayStation. We'll allow cross-platform for 360, for PC, and for Nintendo. PlayStation, nope. We're good. We're out. You want to fuck with us? We're gonna fuck with you. Oh yes, it would generate a lot of controversy. Xbox would get shit on. Would it be scummy? Yes. But at the same damn time, it'd be rightfully deserved. You fuck with us, we fuck with you. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. If I was in charge of Microsoft, I'd do it. I would look Jim Ryan right dead in the eyes and I tell him, if you don't allow us to buy Activision Blizzard, we are going to fuck with you. It'll be like a Blood and Crips type of feud, basically. You fuck with us, we fuck with you. You hurt us from doing what we want, you hurt us in the wallet, we're gonna hurt you in the wallet. Unreal, man. This, I don't even want to talk about this comment no more. Let's just move the fuck on. I'm getting a headache. Why not have God of War, Horizon, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, The Last of Us? Hell, I'll even dig back into the well and bring out games like Sly Cooper and Infamous and Resistance. Why don't you bring those back and remaster them and port them over to the fucking Xbox? Do you know how stupid this sounds? You're gonna allow them to purchase the company that they want to purchase so they can have exclusive games and stuff on their brand, but they're not gonna be exclusive because you want them to be on everything. So what's the point of them buying the company? Bragging rights, I guess? Oh, we own Activision Blizzard, but we're not able to sell these games on our console only. We have to sell them everywhere else. Because good old Bucky Beaver, Jimmy Boy, said so. Oh my god. Even though he's not allowing his games on our console. He's not going to allow his games on our console, but we're supposed to allow our games on his. Do you see how stupid this sounds? You're telling them to allow all future Activision Blizzard titles on PlayStation, but yet you're not going to do the same for your PlayStation product for Xbox. You're not going to allow Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox. It's been nearly 3 years since Part 1 came out. Actually, it has been over 3 years. It's been over 3 years since Part 1 of Final Fantasy VII Remake came out. And granted, while it did come to PC, has it ever come to the Xbox consoles? Nope. So, strike number 1. Let's move on to number 2, shall we? Don't make PlayStation Activision Blizzard games more expensive than Xbox. Because I'm really sure Phil Spencer was sitting back in a office meeting and saying, hey, you know what we should do? We should sell these games on PlayStation, but we should charge them double the price. Yeah, it's going to be $70 for Xbox, and it's also going to be on Game Pass. But for PlayStation users, oh, let's just charge them well over $100 for the same game. If they want to get it cheaper, they'll have to wait for it to go on sale, or they can just get it on Xbox. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure Phil Spencer did not say that in a group meeting, in an office meeting with Microsoft executives. Oh my god, man. Jimmy boy, why do you have to make my head hurt today? Why are you so stupid? And also about that, if they were going to make their games, if they were going to make Activision Blizzard games more expensive, shouldn't they have done the same with Bethesda games? Why are Bethesda games still on sale on PlayStation? Why do I see Bethesda games go on sale all the time on the PlayStation Store? If they're going to jack up the price of Activision Blizzard games, then why haven't they jacked up the price of Bethesda games on PlayStation? Microsoft owns Bethesda, Xbox owns Bethesda. How come they haven't jacked up the prices for games like Fallout 4 or Skyrim or all the other Bethesda games? Why? Because they don't fucking need to, because they don't care. There are Bethesda games right now on sale on the PlayStation Store as I speak. Dishonored 2 is on sale, and that's like what, $5.99 on the PlayStation Store? Yeah, I could play it on Xbox Game Pass right now, but I also have the option of getting it for $5.99 on PlayStation if I wanted to. If Xbox had this vendetta against PlayStation, they would not allow these games to be sold on the PlayStation console. Hellblade by Ninja Theory is still on the PlayStation Store. Granted, it rarely goes on sale, but it still goes on sale every now and again. You can play that via Xbox Game Pass because obviously they own Ninja Theory. But if you don't have an Xbox and you want to play the first Hellblade, then you could play Hellblade 1 on the PlayStation console. Hellblade 2 is going to be exclusive to Xbox because they own Ninja Theory. Are you coming out and telling them to release Hellblade 2 on PlayStation consoles? No. Are you holding them at gunpoint and telling them to release Halo on PlayStation platforms? No. Are you... And speaking of Halo, before I continue, Xbox back in 2014, when they made the Master Chief Collection, actually reached out to PlayStation, asking them if they wanted Halo ported over to the PlayStation console. Think about that! We could have the Halo collection, the entire Master Chief Collection, for the very first time on the PlayStation brand, on the PlayStation console. Oh, we don't want your games on our console. Oh, but here we are nearly a decade later and now you're singing a different tune. Hypocrite! And again, I go back to, if you're going to tell them to not make Activision Blizzard games more expensive on PlayStation, then how about you allow Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 1 and 2 on the Xbox console? Oh, you're not going to do that? Then shut the fuck up! Next! Treat all Activision Blizzard games equally on subscription services of Xbox and PlayStation. They already are doing that with Bethesda titles because Bethesda titles are still on PlayStation Plus. I could literally resubscribe to PlayStation Plus right now and be able to acquire games like The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, Doom Eternal, and a whole bunch of other Bethesda games. If Microsoft really had this vendetta against you, they would not allow you to have Bethesda games on your PlayStation Plus subscription service. Of course, these games are on Game Pass because, duh, Microsoft owns Bethesda. But they're allowing Bethesda titles to also be released on PlayStation Plus. They're not blocking you from doing it. And you're coming out and saying, oh, well, if they acquire Activision Blizzard, they'll block these games from being put on PlayStation Plus. How can you be so sure about that? They're allowing you to have Bethesda titles. Hell, as a matter of fact, at the time of me recording this video, guess what one of the new games for PlayStation Plus is for the month of July? Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. A Activision game. The company that you're trying so hard to prevent being bought out by Microsoft. And Microsoft They're not coming out and complaining about it. They're not trying to stop you from having Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on PlayStation Plus. They're like, hey, you want it on PlayStation Plus? Here you go. We're not even going to fight you. We're not going to sit here whine, cry, bitch, moan, and groan about it. We're not going to do that. You want Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on PlayStation Plus? Here you go. We'll let you have it. Do you see how fucking hypocritical PlayStation is right now? If Microsoft really had a problem, they would contact Activision Blizzard and tell them to pull the game off of PlayStation Plus. Honestly, I'm even surprised that you're able to even get Call of Duty on PlayStation Plus right now. I'm surprised Activision Blizzard's not looking at PlayStation saying, fuck you, until this whole bullshit's over, we're not allowing our games on your service, period. In terms of, in service, I mean PlayStation Plus, of course. You should be thankful that Activision's even allowing you to have Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War on PlayStation Plus this month. They could be a dick and tell you, fuck you. Hypocritical Sony, man. This is why I bought a fucking Xbox. This is one of the major reasons why I bought an Xbox. I'm so sick of the hypocrisy by PlayStation fanboys and by PlayStation themselves, especially from their CEO. My God! I've never seen a PlayStation CEO act like a fucking Karen before. Are you running PlayStation or are you running a fucking daycare? God! Next up, upon completion of the acquisition of Activision, discard all contracts for financial and marketing support that Sony is due to pay Activision in the future. So, you're wanting to commit tax fraud by not paying your taxes and not paying the contracts that you signed with Activision that you agreed to pay off. You're wanting all of that to be wiped away to avoid paying taxes on this stuff, to avoid paying the bills that Activision put against you. And you're telling Microsoft, we'll allow the acquisition to go through, but we'll only allow it to go through if you get rid of all the bills that we have to pay Activision for. Number one, that's scummy. Number two, that's fraud. Number three, Microsoft could get sued to fucking oblivion if they allow that. You're basically telling them to contract tamper, which is illegal. And I'm willing to bet that some of these contracts that you sign with Activision are NDAs. So you would also be putting yourself in financial risk at possibly getting sued too. Oh my God, you cannot be this fucking stupid. You cannot be this fucking stupid on purpose, man. Oh my God. Oh. You're wanting them to waive all the contracts that you signed with Activision, so that way you don't have to pay Activision a fucking dime. You're wanting Activision Blizzard games to be ported over to the PlayStation brand, but yet you're not willing to pay off the contracts that you signed with Activision. Instead, you want them all fucking, basically just stripped away. You want them all written away. Oh, we'll allow the acquisition, but we're not going to pay Activision money. Get rid of all these contracts that we agreed with them. Even the ones with NDAs, get rid of them. Yeah, we know it's going to put us in a chance of getting sued to oblivion. We know we're also putting Microsoft at risk of getting sued. We don't care. We just don't want to pay the bills. You're like Elon Musk with Twitter. Oh, I don't want to pay Google money for the cloud service, so I'm not going to renew the contract, and look at where Twitter's at right now. It's a fucking hellhole. You have to have a Twitter account in order to sign in to even be able to look at tweets. The site is broken. They are limiting you to tweets. They are limiting your number of tweets to where you can only view so many at a time before they lock you off and say come back in 24 hours, cheap ass. And if you pay for a subscription, if you pay for Twitter Blue, by the way, you're still at a limit. Until you hit said limit and they say, oh, well, go outside and touch grass, motherfucker. Oh. Jim Ryan. I'll be so glad when this guy is away from PlayStation. I don't know when it's going to happen, but there's going to come a day where Jim Ryan steps down, and the day that happens, I'm going to celebrate so fucking hard. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate like the Cubs won the World Series again the day that this guy steps down as CEO of PlayStation. Please, just go the fuck away. Oh my god, you're wanting them to... You're wanting them to violate NDAs. You're wanting to violate NDAs. You don't want to pay the contracts that you agreed upon with Activision. You're wanting all of those contracts to be null and void. A $100 billion company that can't afford to pay its bills. What a fucking joke. And of course, the last one. Agree to start discussions to treat Bethesda games equally on both PlayStation and Xbox consoles.
Bruh.
Why did you not do this when they first bought Bethesda? Why is it a problem now? When Xbox announced that they were going to buy Bethesda, you didn't stop them from making that acquisition. You didn't post any articles or threaten to take Microsoft to court over that. You had no issues at all with them buying Bethesda. You're like, oh, you want to buy Bethesda? You want to buy those broken, buggy games that come out at launch? You want to buy the company that's getting mocked and ridiculed for Fallout 76? Hey, go right on ahead. Go right on ahead. We don't care. We're just, you know, shrugging our shoulders. We don't care. But here we are years later, and now it's a problem. Because they're making Starfield exclusive to the Xbox console. And when they came out and announced that Starfield was exclusive to the Xbox, boy oh boy, I bet Jimmy Boy Ryan's head probably caught on fucking fire. And this dude's probably sitting in his office. Hey, you allowed the acquisition to happen in the first place, fuckface. You're the one that allowed them to buy Bethesda and didn't try to stop them from doing so. You fucking idiot. And now here we are years later after the acquisition has gone through, after they 100% officially own Bethesda and ZeniMax. Now you're going to come out and tell them how to run Bethesda and tell them to make Bethesda games not exclusive to Xbox, but telling them to release these games on the PlayStation console as well. Even though they now 100% officially own Bethesda. They don't have to listen to you. And then, at the end of all this, Phil Spencer obviously told Jim Ryan to fuck off. And you know what? Good. Good. Good for Phil. This is why I respect the hell out of Phil Spencer. This is why I like Phil Spencer. Because he has the balls to tell Jim Ryan, fuck you. No, I'm not agreeing to this shit. Fuck you. All of these goals, all of these rules that you put in place for Microsoft to even be allowed to have Activision Blizzard. I've never in my life seen PlayStation act this much of a spoiled fucking brat. You care about Call of Duty more than your own damn exclusives. Gee, Sony, if you care about Call of Duty that fucking much, why didn't you go out and buy Activision yourself? I don't want to hear you don't have the money in the bank to do it. Yes, the fuck you do. It would hurt you financially. Of course it would. But you would make all that money back. All that money, you'll make it back. Did you go out and buy Activision Blizzard? No. Did you go out and buy Bethesda? No. Instead, you're going out and buying companies like Bungie and some streaming platform to host your PlayStation tournament shit on. Meanwhile, Microsoft's out here buying up some of the biggest video game companies in the world. And the biggest video game company that you recently purchased was Bungie. Bungie, the same people who, with Destiny 2, stripped DLC away from content owners who owned said content. The same Destiny that took these DLC packs and expansion packs away from gamers, locked them off from playing them, refused to refund them, and has stated that if they ever get added to the game, that you're going to have to rebuy them. The same PlayStation that seems to cater to live service games more than ever now. Go watch the PlayStation showcase that they recently did. A majority of the games that they announced were live service games. I think the only really big exclusive that was single player only was Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm not going to count Final Fantasy 16 because you don't own Square Enix. You own Insomniac, you don't own Square Enix. So technically, Marvel Spider-Man 2 was really the only big game you showed that was mostly single player. At the end of the day, what this all boils down to is Jim Ryan and PlayStation are going to go to the ends of the earth to make sure that Microsoft, under no circumstance, acquires Activision Blizzard. And at this point, I've given up hope of Microsoft actually buying Activision Blizzard. It's not going to go through. It's not happening. To all the Microsoft fanboys and fangirls that are still holding on to hope that it's going to go through, give up hope. It's not going to happen. The FTC is doing everything they can to block it. The UK did everything they can to block it. One of the workers for the FTC is in cahoots with Sony. The FTC have come out and admitted that they're doing this to protect Sony and not the consumers. It's not going to go through. As much as I would love for it to go through just so I could laugh my ass off at PlayStation, it's not going to happen. And meanwhile, Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake, they're not going to come to the Xbox consoles. Oh, but Square Enix chose time exclusivity, not PlayStation. I'm supposed to believe this, right? I'm supposed to believe that Square Enix decided, hey, we're going to make our games exclusive to one console and one console only. Yeah, that's real smart. You know, we don't want to make a shit ton of money. We don't want to make a lot of money by releasing it on everything. You know, we'll make a lot more money if we were to release it on Xbox and PC at the same exact time, but nah, we'll just release it on PS5 only. Oh, but remember, it's not PlayStation, it's Square Enix that chose this, even though they could be making a lot more money. But Square Enix chose to release it on PlayStation 5. It wasn't Sony paying them under the fucking table to make it exclusive. Oh my god. This is so stupid. This is so fucking stupid. This is gonna be the first and only time I talk about this acquisition stuff here on my channel regarding Activision Blizzard. I hope it goes through, but it's not going to. Although I will say that if somehow, some way, if by some miracle this sale actually goes through and Microsoft is able to acquire Activision Blizzard, I am going to laugh my ass off to the point where my throat gives out. I'm going to laugh so fucking hard at Jimmy Boy. This dude's probably going to be in the corner really acting like a spoiled brat. This dude's probably going to be throwing his arms and legs up, kicking and screaming on the floor like a fucking child. And you know what? I want to see it happen. I want to see Microsoft acquire Activision Blizzard because I want to see Jim Ryan's head fucking explode. But at the end of the day, I know it's not going to. Fuck Jim Ryan. Fuck PlayStation. Fuck Sony. Fuck the FTC. Fuck the UK Parliament. Fuck them all. Fuck them all. I've never in my life seen PlayStation be this fucking manipulative, be this damn greedy ever to a competitor. Like, even the cross-platform play, when they blocked that out, as greedy as that was, in my opinion, even that doesn't compare to shit like this. Like, this is manipulative. Instead of worrying about your own company, instead of worrying about your own product and your own consumers, you're more worried about what the competitor is doing. Oh, because you don't want Call of Duty being exclusive. You have games in your catalog. Spider-Man 2, when it comes out, you have games in your catalog that when they come out are going to make you Call of Duty type of money. Marvel Spider-Man 2, when that game comes out later this year, you are going to make well over $100 million in revenue for that game. It's going to sell like a fucking hotcake. You're going to make so much damn money off of that game, it won't even be funny. And yet you're more worried about Call of Duty than Marvel Spider-Man 2. You're more worried about Call of Duty than any of the studios that you own. What a fucking joke. More worried about Starfield. You're more worried about fucking Starfield than Marvel Spider-Man 2. Than any of the other exclusives that you got cooking under the table. That aren't live service. I'm done talking about this. I got a headache. My head hurts. And I was moving everything back over to my PlayStation, all my games and everything, because I stated that I'm going to be moving most of my Let's Plays back over to my PlayStation. Now I'm starting to regret that now. I'm starting to think about just taking my hard drive, putting it back on my Xbox, and moving everything back over to Xbox. Except the games that I cannot move over to Xbox that are only on PlayStation. I'm at the point right now where I'd rather be playing Red Dead Redemption 2 on Xbox. And I don't have it for Xbox anymore. I would have to go out and repurchase it. This pisses me off so much. I want to go out and rebuy Red Dead Redemption 2 for Xbox. Am I going to? Probably not. But if I had the money and I decide to, I would. Yes, that means I have to stream it through Twitch. Yes, that means I'll have to deal with the audio issues that Xbox is currently having. So be it. Just as long as I don't gotta deal with fucking PlayStation. I hate what PlayStation's turning into nowadays. I used to be the biggest PlayStation fanboy in the entire world when I was a kid. But the older I've got, the wiser I got, and the more I just look at Sony, and I wish, honest to God, I'm starting to wish now that I grew up with Xbox. Granted, Xbox ain't perfect. They have their flaws and they have their mistakes, and they've done a lot of scumbag behavior too. See the Xbox One launch 10 years ago that they're still reeling from, that they're still feeling the effects of to this very day. I'm done talking about this. Edgerunner Gaming HD signing out. I know this is not my best discussion video, and I may sound like a hypocrite here in this video. I don't give a damn. I just needed to come on and voice my opinion. I'm out. Peace. And Jim Ryan, go fuck yourself. And get your fucking teeth fixed!